boys and girls. Oh, it's so good to see you. I hope you've had a good Easter week, celebrating the resurrection and that Jesus is alive. I have been celebrating all week. I've been eating not just jelly beans, but I've been eating those little peeps, those little squishy peeps that taste so yummy in my mouth. Anyway, I've been on a sugar high all week, and so I flew myself to Cancun. Yes, that's right. As you can see, I am in Cancun on the beach, and I'm getting kind of hot in my sweater. Just kidding. This is the new virtual background. I am still quarantined, but I wanted to surprise you. But don't tell my guest, that where I am for real, because we'll see if I can trick him. Well, my guest for today is you will not believe, literally, you will not believe who my guest is. In fact, you might just say that you might be doubting who my guest is today. Yes, that's right, boys and girls. It is the Apostle Thomas. Thomas, are you there? Can you hear me?
Hey, Seemore. Yes, I can hear you.
So funny, Thomas. Apparently, clearly, you've been talking to Philip and Peter and Mary and Paul, Peter, Paul, and Mary, and Philip, and all those others. Is this the new joke between you disciples of calling me that when you come onto my show?
It's been thrown around the house a couple times.
Hopefully in your own house and you're not gathering together in one room, because that would not be safe. Are you, Thomas?
No, it's all our separate houses. Don't worry.
Well, Thomas, before we get on with the show, can you believe it? I found my own trip down to Cancun. Do you notice I've got a palm branch, and let me just try to grab myself a coconut. Oh, okay, there we go. This is a good coconut, Thomas. I wish you could share this coconut with me. Do you like coconuts?
I do like coconuts. We'll have to share one after the quarantine.
Joke's on you, Thomas. I'm not in Cancun. I'm not even in Miami. I'm in my house, quarantined, but I've got a virtual background, something you oldies may not know. Even you predate the boomers. You are a pre-boomer, so you don't know how to do Zoom virtual backgrounds, do you, Thomas?
No, I don't. You fooled me with that one there, Seemore.
I got you, Thomas. Now, Thomas, enough about my backgrounds and enough about Cancun. Tell me, Thomas, the boys and girls are going to be talking about how when Jesus was alive and Jesus showed up in the room, but you weren't there. We all want to know, Thomas, some of the questions that came in. Can you see my papers? Oh, you can't really see my papers because there we go. Some of the questions from the boys and girls is they want to know, where was Thomas the first time?
I don't think that's something I'm going to keep to myself.
Okay, you weren't like out getting groceries for everybody. Did you guys get hungry up in that room? And who ate the most?
Philip, he downed a lot of that food, and he was Pretty hungry guy.
Yes. You know, Thomas, speaking of Philip, I've interviewed many of you disciples. Philip, Peter, John, Mary, Pete, Paul, all of them. And all of them are nice people. But let me just say, Thomas, of all the disciples I've interviewed or the people I've interviewed, you truly look like a Thomas. Do you ever get that much?
No, I get told I'm a handsome, buff-looking guy, though.
I don't see that, Thomas. I don't see that at all. In fact, I would use the term show muscles. But anyway, enough about your show muscles, Thomas. So you're out and you get back and your friends, your brothers and sisters say, "We have seen him. He was here. He was here." What did you think when you realized that you missed your chance to see Jesus?
You know, Seemore is pretty doubtful. I don't, I kind of thought maybe they're pulling a prank on me. I don't know. It was
Yes.
pretty...
It just seemed impossible that he would show up. Were you just much of a realist, Thomas? It just didn't make sense. Is that what you were thinking?
I mean, I don't know who wouldn't have been.
Yes, I know many of you were still doubtful. Now, Thomas, 8 days later, your buddy John tells us, 8 days later, you're in the room, everybody's there, doors locked, and pow! Jesus shows up. At that moment, what were you thinking?
I was pretty shocked. I mean, I don't know who wouldn't again in that situation, but again, I needed to make sure they weren't pulling a prank or something. So I had to, I had to see some proof.
Yes, Thomas, yes. You wanted to see proof. And Jesus said to you, knowing you wanted proof, he said, "Here, Thomas, look at my hands and look at my side. Did you truly put your hands in the wounds?"
Yes, I did. I grazed over them, making sure they were real, and that's when it came to me that this was Jesus.
Yes. And at that point you said, "My Lord, my King." You were so excited, weren't you, Thomas, that you got to see him?
Yes, I was very excited to get to see Jesus again.
Yes. Now, Thomas, I don't know if you've heard, but many people here, this just in, have said that they often, the term doubting Thomas, and I'm going to be honest, I'm going to cut it, I'm going to be real with you, Thomas. Sometimes people don't cut you slack. But Thomas, was Jesus ever angry at you for having questions and needing to see? Was he mad at you?
No, Seemore, he wasn't mad at me. He was understanding, and he was very open, and he wanted me to believe and wanted me to trust him. And
Yes. And Thomas, it's okay then for us to sometimes, if something doesn't make sense, for us to question or say, "Jesus, help me to understand this," or "help me to see." Is that okay? Is that what you're saying?
yes, that is exactly what Jesus wants us to do.
Yes. Good words, Thomas. Now, Thomas, I've heard through the grapevine, or might I say the coconut vine. Anyway, I've heard that you went on with bold faith, and you went into India and over to the East and planted many churches. Is that true?
In some full words, yes, that's true.
Wow, Thomas, you are an inspiration to me. In fact, Thomas, I might even say you might have become my favorite disciple. How does that make you feel, Thomas?
I like that. I like that.
Good, as you should, Thomas, because I'm a pretty big deal where I come from.
Where do you come from?
Canada, Thomas. I come from Toronto, Canada, and you've probably never heard of that because you are over there. Are you still in India, or did you come back to Jerusalem?
You know, maybe I'm kind of in the middle of both.
Ah, yes, you got stuck. You know, I had a friend who got stuck in the middle of the quarantine, and he's in a little place that I don't know, but he was traveling home, so he just decided to hunker down where he was. Is that what happened to you, Thomas? Is it?
I mean, mine's unrelated, but yeah, that's what happened.
Yes. Well, Thomas, it is so good for you. I'm so happy that you are on my show. Please, Thomas, I want you to know from the depths of my heart that you can come back anytime. And Thomas, know that whether I'm in Barbados or, oh, Thomas, I'm up here in space floating around. Thomas! Thomas! Did you know, Thomas, that this is real? That we can be outside of the Earth looking down? The space race wasn't invented when you were alive, was it, Thomas?
No, it wasn't. I didn't know space was a thing until pretty recently.
Yes. Well, Thomas, I must enter back into the atmosphere, so I should probably let you go. Thanks for being on my show, Thomas. And boys and girls, there you have it. Thomas, the apostle, who needed a little sign, needed just to be able to touch Jesus. And sometimes when we have questions, when we don't get it, sometimes it's okay to say, I just don't get it. Boys and girls, enough of this tomfoolery. I hope you have a good day, and we will see you later.